I got a comment, a request, if you will, to be less ADHD in the next video. No. Hey guys, it's me, Mostlykarl. Well, I want to talk about another movie. That's what I do. That's what I do now. In 1997, I watched The First Wizard of Oz.
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking.
I was 7 years old at the time. It wasn't... I probably watched it before that, but that's the first time I remember watching it. And I really enjoyed that movie. My grandfather said, they made a sequel. Mind blown. I didn't know they had made a sequel. Nobody told me. They had made a sequel to this amazing movie. He got it on 1997 VHS. Big fat tapes. Put it in. What I then watched was almost 2 hours of drug-filled, fear-making cinema. It was the 1985 Disney movie, Return to Oz. The 1985 semi-sequel to the 1939 movie, well, not really, it's more of a sequel to the books. It's a mashup of the two L. Frank Baum books, The Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozma of Oz, glued together, making the beast with two backs, if you will. It's a more dark and unsettling movie than the 1939 one. It more relates to the books. The only thing that relates to the original 1939 movie is the ruby slippers. Originally in the books, they were silver slippers. They shoehorned, I think they paid a big chunk of change to have the rights to use the ruby slippers. Dorothy, who is now a child, this Dorothy can't sleep. She's having insomnia. As somebody who struggles with insomnia themselves, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. Toto is still in this. Not the same dog, obviously. That dog will be like 130 in dog years. It'd probably be even older than that. It'd be like a 500-year-old dog. A dog is different Toto, but it didn't make a difference because that Toto, unimportant. He is unimportant to the story. Who is important is Bellina the chicken. Just a chicken. Can't lay eggs. That's her big story arc. That's her hero's journey. Campbell won't be happy with this hero's journey. She can't lay an egg. I say this is a sequel to the books. We hear all about this when she is talking to the doctor. Now the doctor scene is a you were there and you were there and you were there scene from the original movie. We get the doctor, who is in this film, and his little machine friend, who is used for electroshock therapy, which I don't believe works. I don't know. I've never Googled electroshock therapy. It comes up in movies all the time. I've never Googled electroshock therapy. Does it work? Somebody tell me in the comments if it works. I don't think it was. A robot who electrocutes people, great, lovely jubbly. We get the nurse, and we get the guy who wheels the thing around, who looks a bit like Rick Mail. He looks a bit, I don't know if they wanted Rick Mail in this role, or it's just by chance he looks a bit like Rick Mail. Oh, we also get Pumpkin. That's important too. It'll come around, trust me, it comes around. Dorothy has to stay at this, what I presume is a mental institution. Dorothy stays the night at this institute where she's going to get some shock treatment. Shock treatment! Which I should probably cover at one point. We'll cover shock treatment at one point. We also meet a friend. She's sort of a whiff in the night of this movie. Barely in it. The morning is broken. Dorothy is strapped, not for cash, but to a chair, wheeled out by the Rick Mail, fake Mail, and the nurse, who wheel Dorothy out to get some shock treatment. During this, a thunderstorm, I don't know if it's the same night or the morning, wheeled into the room where she can get the shock treatment, and the power goes out. Oh no, she's never going to sleep again. The girl, the random girl who gives her a pumpkin, I mentioned the pumpkin, didn't I? She unstraps her from the chair, and they both escape. Thunderstorm. They escape onto a flooded river. And somehow they get into what I presume is meant to be like some sort of weird cage. What it is, I don't know if it's like a bed, like a kid's bed or something, like a cot. Bellina the chicken shows up. The other little girl vanishes, maybe drowned, we don't know. Off they go to, obviously, Oz. The film suggests they go to Oz, obviously. So not over a rainbow this time, over a flooded, muddy puddle. They land in what they say is a pond. They say it's a pond. It's not. And they found themselves in the deadly desert.
And this is the deadly desert.
As the name suggests, anything that touches the desert is dead, deceased. It is an X thing. Anything that's alive, it doesn't work with dead things. And they go through some of the old scenes. Here is Dorothy's house. Here is the broken up yellow brick road. Here is the Emerald City. The Emerald City does not look good. It looks like a street in Manchester. I don't know why I hate Manchester. Sorry, everybody from Manchester. It looks like someone's going to set up a crack den anytime. And everybody, just like Manchester, is stoned. Everybody's been turned to stone, including the lion, the Tin Woodsman, and these 6 sexy headless ladies. They're important. Really look at them. Look at how sexy they are. They're dancing in a circle. That's erotic. They all over the place. It's just, be careful the wheelers. Be careful the wheelers. What's a wheeler? This is a wheeler. The nightmare-fueled wheelers. The scariest thing in any cinema ever. The wheelers. Is it Uncanny Valley? Is it the idea that they could just easily travel faster than you? Their hands and feet are wheels. How quickly can they move? They also make swan calling noises. That's my impression of a swan. I'm really good at bird impression. I don't know why. I don't like birds. On escaping the wheelers, we meet my favourite character in this entire movie, and possibly my favourite character in all of us. And I hope that when I get to see Wicked, he's in this. If he's not in Wicked, I'm coming for you, and I'll make your day worse. TikTok. TikTok is a wind-up man. He has 3 cogs. He's got one for thinking, one for talking, and one for action. My cogs are wound up all the time, which is great, because obviously it does the whole, some people can talk and never think, gag, which I think they did in the first one.
But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking.
It works better with TikTok, right? I love TikTok. He's my best friend. Not the app. He is the whole army of Oz. We get a little filled in details of him and what happened to him and what happened to the Scarecrow. Scarecrow is the only person that Dorothy is cared about finding. She needs to find the Scarecrow. I guess she did find the Lion and the Tin Onesman, but the Scarecrow's not there. And we hear about the Gnome King because TikTok kicks the living daylights out of one of the wheelers and drags them all the way to the first bad guy. A sequel must have 2 bad guys. It's the rules. Look at Spider-Man 3. 2 bad guys. And that's the best Spider-Man. They drag a wheeler all the way there. This is Mombi, the witch princess, or just Princess Mombi. We call her Princess Mombi. She's a princess. She sat, this is Mombi 1, and you'll find out why I number them. She is a young musician, apparently. She also lives in a very banging house. Look at this place. This place is beautiful. A lot of mirrors, though. There is a lot of mirrors in here. We're going to play Hot or Not with the Mombis. Coming down to Mombi number 1. This is Mombi number 1. She likes music and long walks on the beach. This is Mombi number 2. She likes to steal little girls' heads. This is the second Mombi here. Again, hot. Smash. Not as hot as 1, but again, smash. This is the thing, okay? This is when my film brain kicked in. The way she talks about Dorothy is how I imagine the Disney company probably talked about Fairuza Balk. I imagine this is how the Disney company talks about any girls, including the girl that played Dorothy, is basically, we'll keep her until she's hot, and then we'll make something different with her. Wink, wink, right? Like, soon as she's attractive enough, we're going to cut off her head and use her pretty little face. This is how I imagine they talked about her. I imagine it's the same with Miley Cyrus and any other of these film things. It hit weird, and I didn't notice this as a kid. It was just dark and scary because of the wheelers. As an adult, this film's implications as an adult are infinitely scarier because they don't sell things short. They don't hide their little nuances, or they do a little bit, but you can really dig into them real quick. There's also scenes where we see Mombi take her head off. These scenes hold up real well. When they're doing head switching, you can tell there's a little bit of green screen feathering around the outside, but for a 40-year-old movie at this point, it still looks amazing. So Mombi takes, because she's not done yet, she got put her back in the oven, takes Dorothy and shoves her in the loft, as we would have called it, the attic, as the Americans call it. Shoves in the attic, and she's just going to wait it out. I don't know how old Dorothy is here, maybe like 11, so she's got like 7-year wait. Patience, right? This is where we meet Jack Skeleton. I mean, Jack Scarecrow. I don't think Tim Burton stole the design of this character to make a movie that made him very famous and lots of money. I don't think that. You can't prove that I think that. I don't think that. We got a little bit of backstory with Jack Scarecrow. I nearly said skeleton. The headless women that are dotted around of old Oz are the heads that she decapitated. No other word for it, I'm afraid. Or the heads that she removed to make a little collection for herself. They are the prettiest heads of Oz, apparently. Which means when they're unstoned, they're all just gonna be collapsed dead bodies. That's not what happens, but I imagine that's what happened. That was probably in the subtext, right? We find out about this little powder stuff that brings inanimate objects to life. They build the Gump. The Gump is a Gump head some sort of like a moose walrus creature, a sofa body, wings that are palm leaves, and a tail. I don't know why it needs a tail, okay? Turning, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think I could turn if I wanted to.
Just like in real life, it is thrust into its own existence. And just like real life, it hates existing.
I'm much happier just being ahead, thank you.
Honestly, it really hates existing. That's its only character trait, is that the Gump hates existing. Just as Mombi gets up, and she doesn't have a head, by the way. She's headless at the moment. She smashes a window and grabs head number 3. Okay, again, hot. I think she's meant to really look ugly. Doesn't work. Still hot. It's the nurse, BTW. It's the nurse. They fly away with the Gump, and they land on, well, it's more crash. But they land on Gnome Mountain, where the Gnome King lives. We get some stop motion. We've had stop motion all through this, but I didn't think it was important to talk about until now. The stop motion in this scene alone, where you see the Gnome King interacting with Dorothy and the rest of the group, just superb. Okay, it really holds up. Superb. It looks amazing. We see like a minion talking to the king. We see the king himself talking to everybody else. Looks great. He beckons Dorothy, and just Dorothy, who bumps into the Scarecrow, and the film is over. No, the Scarecrow just vanishes. And we get informed that the Scarecrow has been turned into an ornament, as he calls it, but a little trinket for his trinket collection. Oh, I love a little trinket, says me. Look at my. These were all people as well. These are all my trinket people. I love a trinket. We find a little backstory of why the Gnome King is so angry. Oh, the rest of them come down to see Dorothy, and they make a little deal. If you can guess which trinket is the Scarecrow, or anybody from Oz, you can have them back. You get 3 guesses, and if you guess wrong on the 3rd time, you yourself will become a trinket. That sounds like a good deal to me. He gets a little bit out of the bargain as well, that as we go on, each time a person becomes a trinket, he becomes a bit more human, which blows, really. They all say yes to the deal, although they don't know the human bit. They say yes to the deal, and the Gum goes in. Very quickly, he guesses wrong 3 times. The guy's a little bit more human. Bellina and Jack Skelton go in. Bellina's been hiding inside of his head the entire time, because gnomes don't like chickens. They mentioned it a few times. I didn't warrant telling you. Gnomes hate chickens, so she's been hiding in his head. They go in. 3 guesses go, and the king is a little bit more humanly. This is also where we find out that he's got very nice feet, because he shows his little tootsies off in the ruby slippers. Again, not the silver slippers as it is originally. Ruby slippers. He shows off his little tootsies. TikTok offers himself up. He does. He offers himself up, even though he's just the second to last one to go in. But he's got a plan, because he's wound up his thinking bit. He goes in and pretends to freeze, letting Dorothy come in and then wind him up, or pretend to. She doesn't do a good job of pretending, to be honest with you. And his plan is that she's going to look at the entire room, take inventory of every piece that's in that room, and he will see, guess the wrong thing, and become a trinket. And then using her encyclopedic knowledge of that room that she gained in that 30 seconds, she will have to guess which one TikTok is. And then from that, hopefully there's clues. That fails horribly. He turns into a trinket, she just closes her eyes and spins around and touches something, which is not the right thing, but there is the right thing next to it. Luckily, she opens her eyes just in time and sees a big green emerald, and she's like, okay, this has got to be something. This is it. She says Oz on the little green emerald and becomes the Scarecrow. It's not TikTok. It's not TikTok. Don't worry about it. It's very sad, not TikTok. They find the Gump. They got to find the next green emerald, and it's Jack. Oh, amazing! At this point, the Goblin King is pissed. He goes all Super Saiyan. The Gnome King is like, I'm gonna mess things up, and just starts eating them. He grabs Jack by the foot. Now, he doesn't know Belinda is in that head. All through this, the whole thing, the arc of Belinda, as I mentioned, is that she cannot lay an egg. This is her hero story. This is her moment. The point that Joseph Campbell is jizzing in his chair. She lays an egg, and it is victorious. The egg lands in the Gnome King's mouth, and it is poison. He's dead. That's pretty much it. A chicken saved our life. There is a huge fanfare. Now, apparently, according to Oz people, the big fanfare that they killed the Gnome King is shit gumba of Star Wars, okay? It is like seeing an unimportant Star Wars character in the background, okay? There's like a frog man who's important. We see They're really good. To be honest with you, I wish there was more of the Tin Man. He looks so good in comparison to the 1939 one. Lion, I can give or take, but the Scarecrow scares the living daylights out of me. There's also this guy, and then this guy. These guys are here, just guys. There's just a bunch of guys. Important guys, I presume, to Oz. Big fanfare, and the movie ends with Dorothy going back home. The nurse is in jail now, the one that is actually Mombi, and the man who was the doctor who was going to electrocute her to death, he died in a fire. Take that in, he dies in a fire. And the little girl who saved her possibly drowned. We have no clue where she is at this point. She possibly drowned. This film is an amazing film. If you want to scare the living daylights out of your child, this is a great film for that. I loved it as a child. I still love it as an adult. It's my Christmas movie. You know, when you got like a Christmas movie. Return to Oz is a Christmas movie for me. And you could now watch Wicked Part 1. You got to wait for Part 2. And you can watch the original 1939, and then you can watch this and have your full Oz experience now. Watch Great and Powerful if you want. I didn't think it was that bad. But yeah, go watch it. It's a good film. I think it really holds up. I did say that a lot throughout this. Special effects on this movie look amazing. All of them. There isn't a bad special effect in this film. Even the ones that are a little bit sketchy, that probably should be sketchier, don't look that sketchy. And to me, it's a much better representation of what L. Frank Baum wanted. He wanted a dark story to scare kids a little bit. He wanted the opposite of Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, which should be a scary story, but it's like really nice and wholesome. It really opened the door. This, a never-ending story, really started to have people ask, what is family entertainment? And should it be this frightening and scary? And I think it should. I'm the wrong person to ask, though. I think kids should be allowed to watch kid-orientated horror movies, okay? There is an introduction, the right point to show kids scary movies, and I think this is a good one. You can show this to like a 6-year-old, and they will wet their pants, but in a good way. Is there a good way to wet your pants? This is it. It really captures the concept of darkness in a magical way, and I think that really is something that we need to show kids. We can't protect them all the time, and we certainly shouldn't be showing them films that are like not designed for them. So, and I just like the darkness of it, okay? Go watch it. Bye! Don't forget, if you, I might have swore a little bit, I'm not sure if I did. If you want to give me some money, you can by using this Ko-Fi link on the screen now. It's also on the bottom. I go live on twitch.tv/Mostlykarl every Monday and Wednesday, unless I am mentally ill. Go watch me there. Bye-bye! Yeah.